How's it going? I'm Jared Gillis. Welcome to another All About RVs. Today, we're going to be reviewing the new TrekMount system. This is the first all-in-one Victron mounting system. It's supposed to simplify and speed up the entire installation process. Their tagline to describe it is tighter, cleaner, faster. And I think what this is hoping to solve is it takes systems that are spread out and take up a lot of space and make it extremely compact, but also at the same time, giving you a template to work off of so that it simplifies the entire process. So let's see how it lives up to those expectations and check it out. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. So now to start off, this TrekMount system comes from Trek.systems in Colorado. And this isn't a sponsored video. They're not paying me to say anything. I do have an affiliate account with Trek.systems, just like I have an affiliate account with Amazon. But I always recommend buying Victron equipment through a proper dealer like Trek.systems because they are your support service for all Victron equipment. If you have a problem, concern, a question, you have to go through the dealer. Amazon is not going to be that service for you. So going through a proper dealer like Trek.systems is the right way to go. And I've been using them for years. So when they came out with this mount, I definitely wanted to check it out. My first impression from opening up the box, you can just see that there are a massive amount of options to be able to mount equipment on here, and depending on how you want to set that up, even more than I fully understand, I think, at this point. But that'll change as we build the system on this. But my initial thoughts were I had three concerns. I was curious about cooling. I can see fans down at the bottom. We'll figure out how to get those set up. And then I was really curious about how to manage all the wires that are going to be on this, so cable management. And then I was concerned about the weight. So I'm going to figure out where that all lands, but the things that I think this has the ability to do is really bridge that gap first and foremost to simplifying an install process. The way that it's supposed to work is you hang your inverter and then you build your system on this bracket with all the pre-drilled holes so it just mounts directly onto there. Then you mount this over the inverter and then just connect the last couple of wires. It's almost like a template, but they do have another option that I think really will compete with the all-in-one systems that are out there. You can buy it already ready-made. I think they're calling that TrekMount Ready. So it's kind of an interesting concept, a pre-made Victron system that can be fully customizable. So let's start doing that. Let's start customizing it because that I think is going to help answer some of the questions and see if this can live up to a lot of the claims that we just looked at. Now, as I'm exploring the options for the equipment on the mount, I thought I should probably dry fit this first to see about fitting it over the inverter because I have a couple of options. One, our system's already installed, so I wanted to see if there was room to be able to use this on our RV, but I have other projects coming up that this might be a great fit for. So you can get an idea of how it would fit in here, and you can also see how I encroached on that 4 inches of clearance that you're supposed to leave on each side of the inverter for ventilation, but all that equipment would mount onto the mount. And so if you have an area that's 24 by 24, that has room for the inverter and this mountain here. Now, for reference, we do not have a large bay on the front of our fifth wheel. It's probably one of the smallest out there. We don't have a drop frame, so it's really squatty and it is not very deep at all. So making the most of the space is something that we've always had to battle with. For example, our batteries here, this is a really small footprint in order to have 945 amp hours of battery. These are the Epoch 314 amp hour batteries. So that gives us 942 amp hours in this really small footprint. And I've been really impressed with their batteries. On our battery buyer's guide, they're probably the number one choice that I have. They have their Elite series, their Essential series, and this is the Eco series. So while their higher series are packed with features, the Eco really fits a niche of just being a simple, solid battery that has high capacity while being compact and being on a budget. When you compare it to a normal 100 amp hour battery that's out there, and then you think that this one sitting next to it has 314 amp hours, it's surprising that it's not larger. The idea fits in just like the TrekMount, making things more compact and more simple. It's also helpful that they carry Epoch batteries on the Trek website. So when I'm putting an install and a system together, it's easy that just everything's in one place. It just simplifies it. And since we're talking about mounting all this equipment, another thing that I like about Epoch is that they actually think about mounting their batteries. So many of them out there, you just put your batteries in and then you have to figure out a way to keep them from moving around. But with Epoch, they either put it into their battery, like their Elite series, or they have trays that you can mount into your RV and then strap them down. I'm gonna put links down in the description to everything that we're talking about today, the TrekMount, the batteries, really our entire system. I have a diagram set up of how our system is grown, what's worked for us, the wire sizes, the fuses, all that goes into that wire diagram so you can see exactly what we did and what's working for us.
And all the details and links are right next to the diagram that you can download. I've had a lot of questions lately about us not having heated batteries in a non-heated compartment and how it really hasn't been an issue for us. Even after going through that ice storm and single-digit temperatures, it wasn't a problem for us, but I'll save that topic for another day. But I thought with the batteries, just how compact they are now and how they're not near as expensive definitely played into the idea of what we're looking at in this TrekMount.
But let's get back to learning what we can about this mount to find the pros and the cons. So now what I'm noticing and learning setting up this first system on the TrekMount is the simplicity and the proximity. I had originally planned on putting this on the RV, but like I mentioned, this is going to be better suited for another install that I'm working on. So the equipment is different than what I had originally planned on. When ordering the mount, I told them what equipment I was planning on putting on it, and they gave me mock-ups of how that equipment would fit on the unit. Basically my template. But switching it up and putting a different system on here than what I originally planned really wasn't difficult figuring out where the equipment was going to go on the mount. But planning it out properly would be a bit better. For instance, the smart shunt hangs down off of the mount, which won't be a big deal, but if I had the IP65, it would mount in the right orientation. So what I'm doing to update the downloadable diagrams and the equipment list for the typical setups out there is right next to the link, I'm gonna put a TMR for TrekMount ready. So if you're doing a system on a TrekMount, you know which one of those are already ready for the TrekMount. The next thing that I'm noticing is the proximity of everything feels like we're gonna be using less wire. So our runs are gonna be shorter. So yes, the mount does weigh 21 pounds, but I'm curious how much weight we would save because we're gonna be using less wire in between each of the components. But so far it's pretty easy just being able to route the wires through the ports that are lined in plastic so that you're not having to worry about the wire rubbing onto metal while it's vibrating down the road. But I do have to say it's really nice to be able to assemble these components on a table, on a workbench. Definitely easier and speeds up the process in order to assemble it all. Now I did find that it was easier to put it upside down to be able to do the cable management on the inside of it, and the install comes out pretty clean because of that cable management in the back. So they have brackets on the inside where you can put zip ties through and be able to cinch up that wire, hold it tight in there. So it's well supported and can be out of the way. Talking about support, I did take the mount to where I wanted it to go because it has two slotted mounting holes. So that way, when this thing's loaded up with equipment, I'm not trying to suspend it, line it up over the inverter, get it leveled up. I can do that without the equipment on there, leave a couple of screws in there so that way it's easy to hang on the wall with the equipment. But now that we have this all pretty much buttoned up, it's time to hang this over the inverter and just make our last final connections. So now you might have noticed that all these openings had the plastic for the wires to be able to go through, except for this one right here. You know you have this lined up properly because this is basically a window to be able to see the inverter and the lights that are on it, so that way you know what mode it is and what it's doing, if the mains are on or in the inverter or whatever is indicated on the front of this. And you're still able to access that panel down at the bottom of the inverter through the bottom of the mount. Okay, so here's a little snag or a situation that I ran into, but really shouldn't be a problem for anybody else. And it's why the fans are gonna look different than just about everything else that is out there. So the snag that I ran into is these fans should be replaceable. It's an element that can go out and you wanna be able to replace it. And the way that ours came is it was mounted from the inside. So you'd have to take this entire mount off in order to replace the fan. But they've already come out with a solution and an update for all the Trek mounts that are going out is they've enlarged this hole. And so the fan will mount to this plate, which they sent me that so I can get an idea of what the future ones are going to be like. And then this plate mounts onto this so that if you ever needed to replace this fan, you have 4 screws
swap out the fan and put it back in. But for me, because I would have to enlarge this hole, machine different screws, it's really not worth it for what we have going on here. I'm just going to take these fans and I'm going to mount them to the outside because those machine screws are still going to hold this fan in place. It just won't look as sleek as all the other Trek mounts that are out there. But now with that out of the way, we just have our few last connections. We have our battery that we're going to connect to the unit. We have the positive and the negative, and then the inverter, the positive and the negative. So now I do have more to do on this install because it's obviously a dual inverter setup, but this mount helped solve a problem that I had for this install that I didn't have an answer to because I didn't have enough room to have a dual inverter and have the equipment mounted here as well. And this provided that solution for this install. So for me, that was one of the big takeaways of what I learned about this is it can really make good use of the space, especially if you don't have a lot of mountable surface around in order to mount the equipment. These trends and advancements of being able to make things more compact like this mount and the batteries that we talked about earlier, just how much capacity you get out of such a small footprint, makes it rival some of these all-in-one units that are out there. Now, the second thing that stood out to me is that if you look at this and it's still intimidating, you look at that wire diagram, you're like, no, I would rather hire somebody to do something like that. I think this is going to be great for the professional installers that are out there because they can already have so much of the equipment assembled and programmed before they get to the job that it's going to make the job go that much faster. So if you're hiring somebody and they're using the mount, it might be way less time that they're going to be at your site with your power down in order to get everything assembled. When we were at the RV show, Rugged Red had his hands on the first Trek mount that was out there, and he was saying that it's just going to make installs that much quicker and easier. So him as a professional was seeing how much faster this is going to make his job on the job site. So I'm going to leave his information down in the description. Seemed like a really great guy that knew what he was doing. So overall, I'm impressed. I think this does a good job of bringing some of the pros that were in the all-in-one units that are out there, how it consolidates some of that equipment, and it does that in a very custom way, something that you can customize and future-proof. Because all this equipment on here is changeable. If you need to replace something or update something, depending on needs in the future, you can swap any of these things out without having to replace all the other equipment around it. You can still use it, which is something that I love about setups like this. But anyways, I think that's going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope that it helped you out in some way, seeing some of the new equipment that's coming out that's available to us so you can make informed decisions if you're looking for an off-grid solution. So as always, if we don't see you on the road, hopefully we will. See you next video. Take care.